Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to Save the Girls Live Talk. We are here to encourage and educate men and women all over the world about various topics. I read a book called Wise Women Managing Money, this book here. And in my reading, um, it became part of my story. I'm a 5-year breast cancer survivor, and we had our first event on 10/22/22. And from reading this book, I realized that we must have our house in order. There are things that we need to put in place to leave a legacy for our families and also to live a long, healthy, prosperous life. Today's topic is insurance. It is very important that we have various type of insurance. So today we're going to talk about the different life insurance that you can purchase and should have. We can be powerful in our death when we leave things in order, where our family do not have to argue and fight over who's going to get mom house, who's going to get her clothes, her jewelry, her money. If we have wills, if we have insurance, have our business in order, it can be peaceful and everyone would know our desire when we close our eyes for the last time. So today, I will introduce our speaker. Greatly appreciate her saying yes. Andrea, as an insurance agent, and she has been a great blessing to Save The Girlz organization. We appreciate her and joining us on today. So I'm going to share with you a little about Andrea. Andrea has many accolades. She owns and operates at Life Insurance Agency in Naperville, Illinois, alongside her fiance. She specializes in life insurance and retirement planning. The name of the agency is Prestigious Finance, partnered with the PHP Agency. She has been in the life insurance industry for over 4 years and have a well-endowed educational background that consists of 2 bachelor's degrees and a master in business. Her goal is to help middle-class Americans understand and apply what the wealth has been doing for years. Also, just an update, we're going to go over insurance. And so we're going to start right here. The update again is our topic today is about insurance. So at this time, we would like to introduce to some and present to other, Andrea. Hi.
Hello, hello, hello.
Welcome, welcome. We are so awesome. It's awesome and we're excited to have you with us on um, Say the Girls Live Talk with me.
Right.
So I was sharing when I first opened up, I showed the book Wise Women Managing Money.
Hmm.
And for me reading that book and when I shared my story, I talked about the importance of having a power of health. What is it? A power of health attorney. I talked about the importance of having a will and trust, the importance to have our finances in order, and today is insurance. And those things came from me reading the book Wise Women Managing Money. And I'm committed to sharing this with women, families all over the world. So this is our 4th live, Yolanda Perry Live with the Girls. And I want to thank you once again. PHP was one of our sponsors for our October Say the Girls Day for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So thank you and the organization for believing in us and being one of our sponsors. So I'm not going to prolong the time. We're going to get into asking the questions. First, do you have anything you want to say before we jump right in?
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much, Yolanda, for allowing me to speak on your platform here. There's a gazillion life insurance agents in the Chicagoland area that you could have went with, and so I am truly grateful for the opportunity, and hopefully can add some value to our viewers today.
I'm sure we will add value to the listeners on today. And it's, when my father actually was a insurance agent. And that was back in the day when he would go around to the houses and knock on doors and collect cash. So I remember many nights him coming home with all his money all on the table. It was people insurance money. And he was very adamant that we had insurance, that he had insurance policies on the family members who would pay their insurance. They knew he had insurance. He would fuss about it. When they wouldn't pay it, he paid it. And so I grew up in a house that it was very important that you knew that you needed life insurance. And so I'm gonna stop there because I don't want to. I want to be mindful of the time. So I would like to know if you can share with us the let's talk about what is term life insurance and permanent life insurance. Can you explain that to us? And what
Yes,
first, why is it important to have insurance? And then
yes,
explain those.
indeed. Yeah, absolutely. So, just like you said, Yolanda, your dad used to go door to door collecting the life insurance premiums, and technology has evolved. That's
Yes.
not a thing anymore. I've been
No.
in this industry for a little over 4 years, and I don't collect any premiums. I don't collect any money, to be honest. Uh, all the money is collected by the insurance companies through electronic payments or check payments, things of that nature that the client can do on their own. And so it really has changed the way that people think about having life insurance, because the inconvenience of a life insurance agent coming up to your door, like your landlord collecting your rent, it no longer happens. And so people
Mhm.
are not as, how do I say this? People are not as inclined to look into how life insurance can really benefit their lives. They're not. And so there are a multitude of different life insurance policies that exist, right? Some
Mhm.
people always think, when I always ask the question, Yolanda, what's the first thing you think about when you think about life insurance? Everyone says death. They do. Everyone
Yes.
says it. But it's crazy because we don't call it death insurance. Like, no one's going around buying death insurance. I know I wouldn't buy death insurance.
Mhm.
It's called life insurance for a reason, because you're supposed to be able to utilize it while you're living throughout your life, right? Throughout your life. And so, obviously, the most popular type of life insurance policy is going to be term life insurance. Now, term life insurance, Yolanda, allows for an individual to get a lot of coverage, that $1 million policy, for a minimal amount per month. It makes it very, very affordable to actually have a life insurance. It's very affordable. And so with term life insurance, an individual can apply for this type of life insurance policy and literally have a benefit that in the event that they pass away, it goes to their family. But let me ask you a question, Yolanda, that's really popular in our community. Have you ever had a friend or a family member, or maybe knew someone who suffered from a stroke, a heart attack, or was maybe even diagnosed with cancer?
Yes.
Would you say that those are inexpensive battles, or would you say that those are expensive battles?
Expensive battles.
Very much so, because no one wakes up in the morning and plans to get sick. Terminally ill, like, no one plans to get sick. No one plans it, right?
Right.
Illnesses come out of nowhere. And so the great thing about the policies that I offer to my clients is that in the event that they do become sick or ill, let's say stroke, heart attack, cancer, Alzheimer's, terrible car accident. Let's even go that far. I mean, we're in Chicago. People drive crazy here, okay?
Yes.
And let's say any of that were to happen, they would be able to go back to that same life insurance policy, that term life insurance policy, and live off of that term life insurance policy while they are alive up to 90%. So if they have a $500,000 life insurance policy, they're going to be able to live off of 90% of that. $100,000 life insurance policy, that's $90,000 that you now just had access to not just pay for your medical bills, but to put food on your table for your families, to put a roof over your head, to keep your mortgage paid, your car notes paid. One thing that I've noticed, Yolanda, is that
Uh-huh.
when people get sick, it's not the illness that kills people, it's the stress. It's the
Mhm.
stress of the illness. Stress is the number one leading cause of death. And when people get sick or ill, they begin to stress about their finances, their family, who's going to take care of this and that. And instead of you having to stress or even start a GoFundMe to raise money for that treatment or that plan or maybe a renovation that's needed to stable, instead of doing just go to the life insurance policy. Get the money from there. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yes. Yes. So term is what I'm hearing you say is temporary insurance that you can take out, but you can't borrow
Mhm.
or live off of it. Permanent insurance, you can live off if you have an illness. Is that
So,
what I'm hearing?
nope, I'm only talking about term life insurance right now, Yolanda.
Oh, we can do that off the
I haven't
term?
even talked about permanent.
Hush,
That
I
the
didn't know you could
term
do that off
life
the term.
insurance policy.
Life insurance?
Yes,
Oh wow, I'm
ma'am.
learning.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
teaching me
Term
today.
life insurance.
Oh, because I
No,
always thought term
okay.
life insurance. I didn't think you could live off term life insurance. I only thought you can pay into it and only
Yeah.
could access it when the primary expired. But I'm hearing different today. That is not so. Okay,
That
go
is
ahead and teach
correct.
us.
Yes, that that is old-fashioned life insurance.
Okay.
Old-fashioned life insurance is the death benefit, right? You just
Okay.
have it, and when you pass away, it goes to your family. But
Mm-hmm.
life insurance is bigger than death. That's why they call it life insurance. The keyword's life. And so
Wow.
just having that ability to have a term life insurance policy that can cost someone about 30 to let's say $30 to $50 a month. A
Mm-hmm.
term life insurance policy. Term life insurance lasts for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. The longest you can get it is 30 years. Okay.
Okay.
But the thing about it is having that plan in place and becoming sick or ill, even if you're on a budget, you just have give yourself a peace of mind that you become sick or ill. Now you can still pay your mortgage, put food on your table. It's so interesting because I recently and because this is Save the Girlz, I'll use an example of a client of mine that was diagnosed with breast cancer. She
Mm-hmm.
was diagnosed with breast cancer. She was 32 years old at the time, diagnosed with breast cancer,
Okay.
which is fairly young, right? That's very
Mm-hmm.
fairly young. But there's no age to illness. Let's talk about that, right? There's no age to
Right.
illness. But more importantly, she was diagnosed with this illness that she has three children. She has a husband. She owns a home. She has several car notes. And so she had finances and she was working full time. And because chemotherapy and because she was a nurse, she wasn't able to work as she normally can. And instead of stressing about all of the financial responsibility being put on her husband, she received well over $333,000 in the form of a check to her checking account, direct deposit, that she does not have to give back to the insurance company when she's cured because she's cancer free today. She don't have to get that money back. She doesn't even have to tell the IRS that that money even ever existed. But one thing she had the peace of mind was that while she was going through battling this illness that may affect you emotionally and physically and mentally, she was able to focus on her health becoming better and not worry about how her kids are going to get to school or hiring a
Mm-hmm.
service or forcing a family member to take off work from their job to help take care of their family or even her husband because she
Mm-hmm.
had the money to pay for these services. She had the money to make sure her mortgage was paid just in case her husband did want to stay home and take care of her.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, and this is a regular one. This isn't a rich woman. Okay. We're talking
Mm-hmm.
maybe a combined household income of 150,000, right?
Right. Okay.
And literally was able to access this death benefit while she's alive. She's cancer free today. She's doing well. She's one of my great referral clients. She always sends me some great clients because
Mm-hmm.
she's lived the product of what having life insurance really means. And that's just term life insurance. I'm not even talking
Wow.
about permanent life insurance
Look,
yet.
I
We're still
can't
talking about
wait. That is so amazing. I have learned so much today. Just in this little segment that term policies can be accessed, even while the primary benefit primary person is living. So that's great to hear. I can't wait till you explain to me about what is permanent insurance and what is the benefit of having permanent insurance if you have this type of benefit with term. That's just mind
Right.
blowing. Wow. So tell us
Right.
about permanent insurance.
So permanent life insurance, this is the permanent life insurance has been talked about all over TikTok, Instagram. You can
Mm-hmm.
get online and Google whatever you want and find whatever answer you want these days, right? But
Right.
let's be real. Permanent life insurance, there's not just one type of permanent life insurance policy. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people, Yolanda, think that whole life is the only type of permanent life insurance. When in
Mm-hmm.
fact, whole life is kind of like the flip phone of permanent life insurance.
Right.
It's old
Yes.
fashioned. No one's doing that these. We got iPhones and touch screens and tablets in our pocket these days, right?
Right.
And so when it comes down to it, permanent life insurance is going to give an individual the ability to have a life insurance policy, whether
Mm-hmm.
that be whole life or the other types that I'll talk about, for anywhere between 100 and 120 years old. Now, a whole life policy, we'll start there because everyone knows about whole life. Whole
Mm-hmm.
life insurance is a permanent type of life insurance policy that'll last you until you are 100 years old, right? 100 years old.
Okay.
Now, with a whole life insurance policy, it has it has two features to it. You have the death benefit and you have the cash value.
Mm-hmm.
How I spoke about before about term life insurance and having the feature to live off of it while you're alive, the only benefit that you'll have with a whole life policy is living off the cash value in the event that you needed whatever money. So let's say, for example, you had a $500,000 whole life insurance policy and you accumulated $10,000 in that life insurance policy, but you got an illness. Maybe the individual became sick or ill. They only have $10,000 they can access while living. That's it. The $500,000 policy that they have in place would only pay out in the event that they were to, of course, pass away. But but the great thing about a whole life policy is that you can access that cash value. Whatever cash you've accumulated in it from paying into that policy over the years, you absolutely can access that. And the cash value of a whole life policy compounds interest
Mm-hmm.
every year between 3 and 4%, just depending on the company. But you can see yourself at like 3 or 4%. A very slow growth, but that's not the primary use of life insurance
Mm-hmm.
to use the cash. Well, a whole life insurance policy. That's not the primary use of a whole life insurance policy to build to have cash in it. The thing
Mm-hmm.
about a whole life policy is that the idea of it is to have a permanent long-term plan, and then a bonus is like, oh, and it accumulates cash. That's whole life.
Okay. Okay.
But then there's another type of policy that exists.
Mm-hmm.
And this particular type of plan is called a universal life policy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a universal life policy is also going to give you a fixed interest rate growth on the money that you've paid into that policy over the years, between like 4 and 5%, depending on the company,
Okay.
right?
Right.
As I am a broker, Yolanda, I'm partnered with 16 different life insurance companies because there's no such thing as a one size fits all product. You and I don't wear the same shoe size, Yolanda. I'm sure we don't. Okay. My feet growing because I'm growing a human being. And so
Mm-hmm.
when it comes down to it, what makes anyone think that our financial futures are the same or our health conditions are the same, that we're going to qualify for the same company? And that's
Mm-hmm.
why so many times people get denied by life insurance companies because they only go to this one company that they think is supposed to work for everyone. And so they get turned away like, oh no, I got denied life insurance before, where you went to a company that didn't fit your needs. You
Mm-hmm.
need a broker, someone that can help you find the company that best fits your needs. That's why when we go to the store and we buy clothes, we try them on before we leave.
Right.
And that's exactly why I'm a broker, because I want to make sure that I can make sure the company works for my client
Mhm.
before they even apply to it. And so going back to universal life insurance, it is also still a permanent life insurance policy. Now, universal life insurance is fixed interest growth, and it lasts you until you are 120 years old. So you're going to get 20 extra years with a universal life policy. And the great benefit of this particular plan is that it does have a death benefit. So in the event that she passes away, that goes to her family. And it also does have that cash accumulation growth. You have that there as well. Depending on how this particular plan is structured,
Mhm.
it can add some financial value to an individual, but it's all about how much you fund these type of policies. And notice I'm not saying how much it costs. It's
Mhm.
a funding mechanism. You can overfund a life insurance policy like the wealthy do all the time to benefit from the cash accumulation growth. Because whether it's whole life or universal life, the cash in the life insurance policy cannot be taxed by the IRS due to tax code 7702. That's a tax code in the tax code handbook. And that means that any money that you gain in life insurance cannot be taxed by the IRS. So that's why a lot of people nowadays are utilizing life insurance as a wealth building vehicle, which is not a bad thing, but there are different policies that do exist that do different things. So that's universal life. But the one uh, permanent life insurance policy that has been raving social media these days, where all of the celebrities have been, these interviews have been coming up out of the archives, from Candy Burris to Waka Flocka. A lot of people have been talking about this particular plan, and this particular plan is called a life insurance retirement plan. We call it a LIRP for short, a life insurance retirement plan.
Okay.
This third type of permanent life insurance policy, Yolanda,
Mhm.
is the big is Mercedes Benz, the
Oh,
Bentley of
okay.
life insurance. Absolutely.
Mhm.
It's the bread to the butter of life insurance. And what makes this policy so awesome is that it not only has a death benefit in the event that they pass away, their family's taken care of. It also has that feature that if they become sick or ill, they had a stroke, heart attack, or cancer, they're able
Wow.
to live off of the death benefit. Okay, we just talking about the death benefit. But then
Yeah.
another bonus policy is that it's cash.
Wait,
And this can a life insurance retirement plan.
can you
You
repeat
can't
that?
hear
You,
me?
you broke up a little bit, but I want the people to hear what you just said.
Okay. What part did I break up on?
After you were saying like you can do both, live off the retirement benefit as well. That was yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes. So with this life insurance retirement plan, you can live off of the death benefit while you are living as well. So it's going to have that death benefit. So in the event that this individual passes away, their family's taken care of. And then it's going to have the second feature of if they become sick or ill, the strokes, the heart attacks, the cancers, um, major illnesses. I mean, Alzheimer's, a terrible car accident. They're going to be able to live off of that death benefit while they are alive. But then that last third feature of this life insurance retirement plan is that it's going to compound interest in the cash value. So it's going to create cash value, and this cash value is going to compound interest every single year with no losses whatsoever. And it's going to compound interest between 0 and 9%. Some people don't even get 9% in their 401ks, Yolanda. That's not even really a thing. But it comes down to life insurance. Having a life insurance policy that allows for an individual, just like the wealthy, to put millions and millions of their dollars, thousands of their dollars. We can even go that small, right? Into a life insurance policy so that later in life, they can utilize that cash as a supplemental form of retirement. Now that's creating true generational wealth there, Yolanda. So everyone who wants generational wealth, and you can achieve that through life insurance. So I know there's so many like negative reviews and videos and TikToks on life insurance. And I mean, there's gonna, if you go looking for it, you're gonna find it, right? That's just the nature of life. But at the end of the day, you can absolutely create generational wealth through a life insurance policy, but it is a long term savings game, not a short term savings game. It's long term for sure. And the younger you are, the cheaper life insurance is. So when it comes down to life insurance, as we, are young, the younger individuals do have a advantage because they can put a plan in place right now that will still be active when they're 60, 70 years old. But when you wait until you're in your 60s and and you have the health conditions, the pre-existing health conditions, you can still get life insurance, but we have to be real, it's going to be a little bit costly. And that's why I'm a broker, because I'm able to go in and say, okay, I get it, you're 65, we can still get you covered. Let me find the very best plan that works and fits your budget and your needs. And so my goal, Yolanda, is always to do what's best for my client. I'm not the type of individual that'll just sell you something because you want to be sold. I'd rather educate you first, help you understand what life insurance does and how it can work and how we need to fit it into your life. It's just like shoes. If the shoe hurt, don't put it on, right? And so it's just like a life insurance. You want to make sure it fits your lifestyle, fits your budget, it fits what you want it to do and achieve the outcome that you're looking to achieve. And so that's really the type of life insurance policies that exist. I know it's a lot of policies. I know. But it makes sense because it's going to be different for every client. Every client's going to pay differently for the cost of insurance. Every individual is going to have a different type of policy. That's just the nature of it.
Well, thank you. You have provided a wealth of information. I learned that a term policy you can live off of if you have a chronic disease. I have learned about term, the last one. Now, I knew about whole life, I knew about universal life, but I didn't know about this last one. So I have really been educated. Thank you for educating me on tonight.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
absolutely.
I wanted to ask you what some people, because everyone is not in the old saying, in the same boat. You have people who have these kinds of policy already that is doing well off with them and putting the money in and using it for investment. My brother actually was just having this conversation with me like 2 weeks ago about using insurance money to live off of, to make investments and then put the money back in there and build it up again. I was like, wow. And so then have you to come and actually elaborate on that. I didn't know what type of insurance policy that he was referring to, but you have gave more content and not just talk insurance, but the type of insurance that it is. And this is great information. Then you have those who don't have insurance at all. They still living off the insurance mom received when they was a child or in their 20s. They don't even know if it's still enough to bury them. They just know mom have insurance. You
Right.
know. So what words of encouragement that you can give to those who don't have insurance besides get insurance? Those who have it and those who's doing well. What can you give tips for each one of those areas?
I think the best thing is if you're viewing right now, you've just met your life insurance agent. You want to go with someone that you can trust. I think
Mhm.
the biggest thing is that we have this misconception that we have to get our life insurance bundled with our car, with our home and auto, and that's not how it works. Because some people get denied that way for their life insurance. And so I say the first step is to sit down with your life insurance agent, with a life insurance agent, and have a conversation. I always tell every client, even the newest client, I'm not here to judge. your health. Everyone has a past. It's all about putting things in place to make sure we can control the future. And so it's all about, sitting down and becoming properly educated and finding out how much life insurance you actually need. Because it's one thing to say I have life insurance, but it's another thing to say I have an adequate amount of life insurance. So I know that my family is 100% okay. Will not have to go get a GoFundMe in the event something were to happen. Obviously, when it comes down to being young, our millennials, our Gen Zs, our Gen Xs, our Gen Ys, I think there's like a letter for every generation these days.
Yeah.
When it comes down to younger individuals, get the life insurance now. I get it. Your mom, your dad has a life insurance policy on you. Mine does too. But that doesn't mean I'm not gonna adult and get a life insurance policy because now I have children and
Mm-hmm.
I'm involved in a committed relationship. It's time to adult. And I'm with every other young adult. Yolanda, I want a refund too on this whole adopting thing. But there are no refunds, okay? We gotta just flow with it, flow with adulting.
Mm-hmm.
And so that first step is just sitting down and making sure that you have an agent that you can trust that'll become part of your family. Check, you've already found that. Next, you want to make sure that you have this conversation with your spouse when you sit down with your agent. If you are married or involved, right, you want your spouse to be involved in that conversation as well. And then, more importantly, if you don't have life insurance, it's easy. It's easy to get. It's so easy the process is so simple and it's painless. Okay, very painless. But it's better for you to get the coverage now while you're young outside of your employer versus waiting until you're older and then you're retired and then now you have to go look for life insurance because you waited until you retired from your job to get life insurance in your 60s. And if you can imagine, life insurance is a different cost bracket when you're in your 60s and you have the pre-existing health conditions that are setting in. Unless you're healthy and you're 60 and healthy with no illnesses, that's a different conversation. But sometimes, usually, when an individual is near in their 60s going into their 70s, they do have some sort of pre-existing health condition they have occurred during that time. I mean, it's just in our community, unfortunately. And so you can still get covered as well. You just need to sit down with an agent that is a broker that can find you a plan that best fits your needs. So don't walk into there's a lot of insurance companies that do exist. I get that, but you want to sit down with the broker to make sure you get the best value possible, and you want to sit down with someone uh, that is just not trying to sell you to sell you. That's one thing that I really don't like, Yolanda. I hate that some people take advantage of a situation, and you don't care about my family, you don't care about me, you just trying to make a sale. I don't like that. And so when I got into the life insurance industry, which is a sales environment, I told myself, I'm not a salesperson. I'm here to educate you. And I want you to fully understand what you get when you leave from our Zoom meeting or I leave your kitchen table, however we meet. I want you to fully understand the plan that you have and feel comfortable and confident because it's one thing. For sake of time, we won't go down my soapbox, okay? But it's just so many different situations that I've come across with clients that have literally just been sold to be sold because somebody trying to make a commission. That's not my motive. So it's always about finding that trusted agent that's going to take good care of you, and having life insurance outside your employer is important because your employment, we know in 2020 we all learned this beautiful word called essential. So we know that there's no such thing as job security anymore. It doesn't exist. And so having that life insurance outside of your employer gives you control of anything that may happen in the event that something happens to you for your family. You want that complete control. And with your life insurance through your employer, you don't get that sexy feature I talked about where you can access the death benefit while you're living. They don't offer that. They don't offer that. That's a huge one-off if they do offer that, right? And if they did, you applied with the particular company itself to get that type of life insurance policy. But obviously, when it comes down to life insurance with your employer, it's great to have. You just have to have the full understanding to know that um, it's important to have it outside of your employer. And when you leave your employer may not let you take it with you. And if they do allow you to take it with you, then it could be very costly. So those are all things that I would take into account if you don't have life insurance or if you do have life insurance. Because really, Yolanda, the average individual should have about 4 to 5 life insurance policies. You may think I'm crazy, but you shouldn't just have one life insurance policy. You don't have one pair of shoes. So why should you only have one life insurance policy? Just doesn't make sense. So you should absolutely have more than one life insurance policy because each policy is going to do something different for your family. Just like each one pair of those shoes is going to do something different for that outfit, right?
So one of the things, thank you for sharing that. Sid, if you don't have insurance, sit down with a broker, not just an insurance agent. That stood out to me. An insurance agent, that is a broker that can work with multi companies to find the insurance package that's best for your family. That's very important. And also, I want to you also touched on um, insurance on your job. So I noticed, like, if you leave, they offer you Cobra, and they tell you how much you can pay. So it's good, and thank you for mentioning that and making sure that, hey, that you may not be able to take that with you. If you do, it's costly. Um, and then also, I want to touch on how frequent should a person review their insurance? Should we just buy it and just pay it for the rest of our lives and just, leave it as that? Or how frequent should we review it?
Oh, I think I'm breaking up a little bit.
Okay,
The
I hear
last thing
you
I
now.
heard, okay, the last thing I heard you say, Yolanda, was with life insurance. Is it something that you pay into for the rest of your life? And I didn't hear anything else after that. Was that the end of that sentence?
Yes, I was asking, yes. So, I mean, how frequent should you review your policy? So you just purchase it and don't review it anymore? Or you should, if we should review it, how frequently should we review our policy?
Absolutely. So your life insurance policy should be reviewed every year. Every year you should review your plan because your income increases every year. And you want to make sure that your plan still works. You may have had a child, you may have gotten married. Different life circumstances require you to review your life insurance policy at least once a year so that you're familiar with what you have. Absolutely. And so when it comes down to life insurance, uh, with a plan, with term life insurance, you obviously pay for it for that term. But to answer your
Mhm.
second question, with permanent life insurance, you don't have to pay for that type of life insurance for the rest of your life. You can choose a date where you stop paying it, but it's still active. It's still working for you. And so it's not something that you have to pay into for the rest of your life. So if you do it early, you pay it off, get it done, get it out the way. And then you have a policy until you're 120 years old, right? That you don't have to pay every day, well, every month, for example.
Mhm. Okay. Well, thank you for answering the questions. I want to know, we're going to wrap this up. Do you have any last minute comments? And if you don't, can you please share how people can reach out to you?
Yes, indeed. So, thank you so much for, again, Yolanda, allowing me to speak on your platform to your viewers. The beautiful thing is that I can be contacted easily. Um, Obviously, on Facebook, I can be contacted at my first name, last name that you see on the screen here, Andrea Charisse. If you go to Instagram, you can type in my name, Andrea Charisse, or you can type in my Instagram handle, which is the @LUX_assurance, ASSURANCE. That's my Instagram, and that's also my TikTok at LUX_ASSURANCE, Lux_assurance. Because I believe that I can give you a luxury assurance on your life. You like what I did there? Okay, yes. Uh, but that's a great way. Or you can, if you're very formal and you want to send me an email, you can email me at my last name, CHAIRSE, at prestigefinances with an S.com. So ACHAIRSE at prestigefinances.com. Either way, you can find me. Google my name, everything will come up. You know, your whole life is on Google these days. And so, either way, I am extremely searchable via the web for sure.
Well, once again, thank you, audience. We appreciate you tuning in, and we ask you to have your business in order. Once again, thank you, and you have a great, great evening. Bye.
Bye.